Hi all, welcome to Security and Privacy in Cloud. I am Jay Lavanya, Assistant Professor of CSE Department. So today we are going to discuss on the Unit 3. The topic is that access control and identity management. Under this, we are going to see is about identity federation, identity providers, and service consumers. So what is meant by identity federation? So it is a system that allows the users to authenticate one and access multiple applications or services across different organizations or domains without needing separate credentials for each. So this is achieved through some trusted relationship between identity providers and service consumers. And so these are the main important topics, that is identity providers as well as the service consumers. So this is the diagram. So here we can see it will be there will be a user who can able to access the cloud app like Salesforce, Amazon Workspace, or Office 365. The user is redirected to the identity providers for authentication. So by means of username as well as the known device, and then the identity providers will be returning an accept or reject response in the SAML session or security token and SAML accession by IDP. So what is meant by SAML accession is that so here what you'll be doing here is an XML document where we can provide that identity provider sends something to a service provider to confirm a user's identity and then authorization status, enabling single sign-on across different applications. And security assertion markup language is an open standard for some accessing, authentication and authorization data between the identity provider and then the service consumer. So what are the key components of identity federation is that identity provider and service consumer. It's otherwise called as service provider or related party. So identity provider, an entity responsible for verifying user identities and issuing authentication tokens. An example is that like Microsoft Intra ID or Google Identity or Okta or Auth0 and Active Directory Federation services. And service consumer is that a system, application, or service that relies on the identity provider for authentication. Example like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Services. And internal corporate applications or SAS application like Salesforce, Dropbox, and then Microsoft 365. So how does the identity federation work? So here a user tries to access the service provider. Example, a cloud application. Service provider will be redirecting the user to the identity provider for authentication. The user authenticates with the IDP. The IDP issues a secure authentication token. The service provider validates the token and grants access to the user. So this is how the identity federation will be working. The common identity federation protocol is that SAML, as we told earlier, like a security assertion markup language, which is used widely in enterprise environments for SSO. And OAuth, that's 2.0, is provides authorization for API and web services. And OpenID Connect is an OIDC and IoT layer built on OAuth 2.0 for authentication. And LDAP is lightweight directory access control used for directory based authentication. So SAML, OAuth, OpenID Connect, and LDAP. So most probably you will be using like SAML protocol, the XML language. So one of the benefits of identity federation is that a single sign-on improves security, centralized identity management, and then user experience. So single sign-on, here the users authenticate once and access multiple services. So improved security is that it reduces the password fatigue and phishing risk. And centralized identity management is that easy administration and the compliance. And user experience here is seamless access to multiple applications. Like example, if we take, there are so many things where we can able to find the identity federation. The most thing or the commonly used, you know, identity federation means, like most probably we'll be going for something like it allows users to access some multiple third-party website with your Google or some Facebook account. Some example is that if a user attempts to access a service provider like a website or application, the service provider will be redirecting the user to the identity provider for authentication. The user authenticates with the help of the credentials, and once it verifies the user identity, it will be accessing the token or the session. Example is then logging into a website with a Google or a Facebook account and accessing a company applications with your corporate credentials and using your personal email credential to access a third-party service. And another example is that Amazon Web Services using Web Identity Federation. Okay, and so these are the main advantages, like as we told, like a standard for delegation to access to protect the resources. Okay, so one example of federated identity is that a Gmail login credential, so where it is commonly used in all over the world and also such as in YouTube. So next we are going to discuss is about the identity providers. So here in identity providers, uh, the manages and verifies the user identities. It provides authentication services via protocols like O authentication, SAM, and O Open Connect, and issues identity tokens or credentials to authenticate the users. Example like Google, Okta, or Microsoft Azure AD, and then Auth. And a mobile app using some Google Sign is a service consumer of a Google's identity service. So here, the service consumer, what like identity providers will be doing is that uh, they'll be just using some end user services or systems. Now, identity providers offer some so many user authentication service in the context of a web service. Or this means when you try to log on to a service or an application, instead of the application or managing the username and password, it will refer to an external service identity provider. This process is typically seamless for the user who simply sees a login with the button like IDP button. And how does this identity provider accelerate the identity governance is that identity governance is nothing but is about ensuring that each identity in an organization has the appropriate level of access that is necessary to perform its function. This involves setting up policies that control who can access and what resources, monitoring how they are using those kind of resources, and auditing that usage to ensure compliance with the company's policies and various regulation. And it also this plays an important role in various identity governance in several ways like centralized authentication, single sign-on, access management, and audit and compliance. Centralized authentication is that like identity providers which enables the centralized authentication where the user identities are managed in a single place. So this makes it easier to enforce the policies uniformly across multiple applications and services. A single sign-on here, many identity providers offer single sign-on capabilities where a user logs in once and gains access to some multiple systems without being prompted to log in again. So this not only improves the user's experience but also helps in tracking and controlling the user access across various systems. And next, like if you take for access management, identity providers often integrate with identity governance and administration, which is used to call as IGA. And here also, what they'll be doing is that those changes will propagate to all connected systems. Okay, and the next one, like audit and compliance, as the identity providers of the main part, or we can say like they are the central point for the user authentication. So they can provide some detailed logs about who access what resources and when. So this information is crucial for audit purposes and providing compliance with various regulations. So overall, identity providers simplify the process of managing digital identities, improving the security by centralizing authentication, and helps organizations maintain compliance with internal policies and some external regulations. Okay, so this is all about the identity providers. So next is that types of identity providers. So here there are the two types. First one, social identity providers, and then enterprise identity providers. So what is meant by social identity providers is that, so here suppose the Facebook identity provider service allows users to sign up into a third-party websites, applications, and mobile apps with their Facebook credentials. It's widely used due to its inconvenience and the vast user base of Facebook. When a user logs in via Facebook, the website can access basic profile information, fostering easy account creation and personalized experiences. And Google Identity Services, what they will be doing is that it offers an identity provider, a service that lets the users sign in with a Google account. So this service is particularly popular among Android users and Google's ecosystem, including Gmail, YouTube, and Google Drive. It also supports two-factor authentication and is known for its robust security measures. Next one is that like Twitter authentication is that here in Twitter it also provides an ID provider service, allowing users to log in to other websites using the Twitter accounts. So this is particularly beneficial for applications focusing on social interactions and public content sharing. So next type is that enterprise identity provider. So here, what we will do is that Microsoft Azure Directory Federation Service, that is ADFS. It is a single sign-on solution that allows users within an organization to access external system and applications using the same credential they use within the Windows one. It's widely used in supported environments and integrates seamlessly with other Microsoft products. And also there is another enterprise identity provider, Okta. It's a cloud-based identity provider that offers a wide range of identity management services. It's known for its flexibility, ease of integration with a vast array of applications, and strong security features. And Okta is particularly popular among businesses looking for scalable and reliable SSO solution. And next is like one login. So here what it will be doing is that similar to Okta or OneLogin, it also provides a cloud-based solution for identity and access management. It also offers single and non-multi-factor authentication and user provisioning. So OneLogin stands out for its ease of use and quick integration with various cloud and on-premise applications. So this is all about the types of identity providers, social as well as enterprise. Next one, we're going to discuss about the service consumers. So what is in the service consumer is that it's an user services provided by the service provider. So it can be an application or a user or a system that utilizes some services offered by the service provider. In authentication, service consumers play a vital role by requesting identity verification from an identity provider. So this interaction is essential for ensuring secure access to resources and services. Example, like a mobile app using Google Sign-in is a service consumer of a Google Identity service. And like another thing is that when a user, if he wants to attempt to log in, the app requests for verification from the Google Identity provider, checks the user credential and confirms the identity. It will be checking, right? Once you are giving through the Gmail account, it will be asking for the some security verification. Okay, this particular person is right by means of phone number or through any security purpose, we can able to log into the particular Gmail account. And the role in authentication is that when a service consumer needs to authenticate a user, it sends a request to an identity provider for identity verification. So the identity provider then processes this request, verifying the user's credential and returning the appropriate response to the service consumer. So this process is fundamental in maintaining the security and trust in digital interactions. Okay. And next we are going to discuss is about uh, network access control and how they are going to implement. And before that, I'll just show you some the demonstration. So how it is working. So here the identity server will be there, and then access gateway will be there. So here by means of providing authentication through various languages, like identity providing authentication, and then service provider consumers SAML or SAML2 and liberty authentication from the identity server. And then the access gateway like ESP consumes authentication, that is liberty. And the main advantage of using the service consumer is that it also provides some various, like there are so many things will be happening, but based on that only we have to confirm, right? And the service consumer, it also provides some functionality like locating the service in a registry or directory or binding to the service over some specific transport mechanism. Like example, like network protocol, can you go for it, or executing the service by sending it a request and formatted according to the agreed upon service contract. And what is the service contract is that it defines the rules and specification that both the service provider and the service consumer must follow during their interaction. Then only the follow the way will be easy. Example, like if you go for some web application which uses an API to retrieve the data from a database, a mobile app that uses a cloud service for user authentication, and internal IT service that an employee to access a shared drive. So that is all about. And main thing, if you go for some Google Cloud application or something like that, so there it will be defined in a different way. Okay. So what they will be doing is that so apart from this live chat, like you can see the real-time scenarios like live chat support. Customer browsing an e-commerce website has a question about a product or some shipping options, right? So the customer initiates some live chat session with the customer service agent and receives immediate answers to their questions. Service consumer, what they do is that the customer is the service consumer requesting and receiving some real-time support. And real-time banking transaction, like what they'll be doing is that here the customer uses a mobile banking app to transfer funds to another account, and also if he or she the bank's payment processing system is a service provider delivering the real-time transaction functionality. A business uses a real data analytics platform to monitor the website traffic and the customer behavior. So these are all the main applications of service consumer. So in this particular thing, we have discussed about the service provider, identity providers, and then identity federation. So let me just brief it out what other topics we have seen. So what is it by identity federation, and how does it work, and how the user is using to navigate to the service, and also what are the benefits of identity federation, like simplify user experience, centralized identity management, and improve security. And we have seen some examples in the real time scenario of federated identity. In that particular topic, we have seen like identity providers and service consumers are the main important part which plays a major role in the web applications. And we have seen about the architecture diagram and the types of providers and what are the benefits of using. I hope you had a clear idea on these topics. Let us all see on the next video. So thank you all.